gentleman is gone. He died through Canada's Medical Assistance in Dying, or Maid program, however you want to call it. And he had mental illness. And the mother is upset because she didn't want this to happen. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more. People who are struggling with mental illness don't need to be offered Maid. They need to be offered solutions. We need to be investing in brain research. We need to be investing in proper treatment. We need to be offering supports. We need to not have 18-month wait list times for young people. We need to have people on the front lines who are trained and not themselves struggling because they're overwhelmed. This is not the solution. Killing people is not the solution. It is sending the wrong message. And if you're watching this and you are struggling, your life is important and you matter. And whatever it is you're going through, it's not permanent. But you know what is permanent? Death. And this whole situation is completely wrong. And I'm so sorry for this mom. And I'm so sorry for this young man whose mind told him he had no other option. And it's just terrible. It's just terrible. So this is the thing that you should be writing to your MP about. We should not be extending Maid to people with mental illness. We should be investing in solutions to help people who are struggling. That is what we should be doing.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Urcha Hakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow believers of this truth. Shalom to you brothers and sisters that support the truth. Shalom to the elect. So in this video, you may hear me say Esau a lot, right? And when I say Esau, for you don't know, he goes back to Genesis 25, the one that came out red all over like a hairy garment, but he wasn't hairy. He had red, rough skin, right? So that was Esau, the red skin, okay? So the so-called white man. Now, when I say that, there's some of our people who look white. So we're talking about the elites at this point that run Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So I want to discuss this situation with this man. They killed him. He was killed for being sick. Now, we know through gradualism, if you've seen this in a movie 50 years ago, nobody would believe it. But because slowly through gradualism it comes to pass, Dr. Kevorkian and what he did and everything that's done, these people capitalize off it and then they create it amongst themselves. So I went to look this up. This is really a true thing. If you're sick and you're like sick cattle that they put down, right? That's what it is, because that's how they look at you. You know, you're wasting up taxpayers' dollars. So we got to say that this is all going to manifest even to us when they start saying, well, if you're anti this and you're anti that, well, you don't have a right to live. And people would agree. You know, you got to dumb the people down to believe this stuff. So what I did is I looked at the article. This man right here, what's his name? Keanu Vefarian. And I believe that's like is it Arabic, Persian? I think I looked it up somewhere. It said, you know, a name like that is like Persian. And he could be a Jake. They had intermingling with the northern tribe, the Puerto Ricans. That's why some of them look like Ephraim, right? And the Moroccans, in North Africa, the Berbers, who Jake was mixed with them as well, the so-called Arabs who had us in slavery. So I don't know if he's a Jake or not. His mother damn sure looked like Northern tribe, but you know, they look similar to Northern tribe, but they could still be heathens. So I don't know, but I am going to say that this man, when we say is the devil, that's what he is, you know. See, the jabos, that ain't do it, right? The gangster rap, the killings, the murdering, the disease. Hey, people are still resilient. And it's like, wait a minute, we got to get this under control. Basically, if you're not fit for society, you're out of there. And we see this with the movies Judge Dredd, Demolition Man, these movies. They say now they got something in the phone. If you text and say something wrong, right? You're audited for it, or you're penalized. This country, they're all for doing away with things, but they have the most worst sickness. Like, you can't even use the P word on your phone, they'll block it out. Although the word exists, for the cat. But they'll block it out. You can't even say anything about the homo thing, and everybody calling Diddy and this or that. But this whole society promotes it. So this is why it's called the land of the city of confusion. Right? So everything goes here. And now they're bringing this out. Just put them down like a dead dog, like a rabid dog. Dog gets sick, euthanize them, put them away. Well, now they're doing it to people because they look at you as cattle. And I don't know, we've been saying that, right? So I went and took a look. Let me get a scripture first. Let me go here. Let me go here. What sorrow awaits, Isaiah 10:1. What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those, this is an NLT, and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice, right? And this is exactly why you look at us, and a lot of us on food stamps, welfare, help, all these assistance programs, but those people in the land, they own it more than us. Did you see the videos that's been shared? They don't work. They got children. Yeah, okay. And they're supported. The government supports them. They get funded for being them. Only Esau can fund himself. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, and deny the rights of the needy among my people. They prey upon widows. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you're a senior citizen, okay, you're a senior citizen and you can't afford health care and you need a major surgery or something, they're taking your whole check pretty much. They want a big down payment and coverage. So you see now they don't really care. They're showing who they really are. They just needed you to believe in them so then they can make these changes with the feminism and everything else that happened. See, once you get in their clutches, and then you start teaching feminism, you start teaching you could do what you want, you could smoke crack if you want, no big deal. And I'm not going to say go that far, but you could commit adultery. You don't need to put up with that stuff if the man ain't doing you right. And then they come with this. See, now they don't need you senior citizens. They don't need you sicklies no more. If you're sick, they don't need you no more. I noticed that nothing is free in this world except them jabos, man. That's free. Now all of a sudden they care about humanity. Yeah, okay. Anyway, and take advantage of orphans. What will you do when I punish you? When I send disaster upon you from the distant land? To whom will you turn for help? This is Revelation 18. Where will your treasures be safe? Joel 3. You will stumble along as prisoners and lie among the dead. But even then the Lord's anger will not be satisfied. Right? His fist is still poised to strike. Anyway, this thing called Maid, medical assistance in death, that's insane. So in other words, you're just like a dog, and if you're sick, shoot them up. And this was behind this woman's back. Let me go here. America has more states under our back that you never know was doing this. Right? Physical assisted suicide. Remember they said how bad this Dr. Kevorkian was? You see how sick Esau is, man? The only reason why anybody would get punished for anything was because they didn't jump on it first. The gambling, right? We had them numbers running and all that stuff. The bookies and the gambling. Everything is legal when the government can see it. When they can't see it, it's illegal. So they want part of everything. The hacks, well, now you got Uber. This is what they do. They capitalize on anybody's misfortune and anybody's hustle. Anybody's fortune and misfortune, they're going to capitalize on it. They say never let a good opportunity go to waste. Anyway, California has this, Colorado, Delaware, right? Hawaii, Maine, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, and Washington, D.C. I didn't know that. Maybe the elder knew about that. I might have to call him. Yeah, they have that. Anyway, this is called legalized jurisdiction, medical aid in dying. Right? Now, in a sense, somebody's got like terminal cancer. You know, they really trying to get out of there. I don't know. That's a different take. That's controversial. But then who makes the decisions and determine if that person should live or die? Right? I mean, we talking about life support or whatever. They normally leave it the family's responsibility to give the okay. But they're now going behind the mother and saying, I'm going to do it any goddamn way. I'm just pulling the plug. In fact, she fought to stop it before. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, here we go. A vulnerable young man with no terminal illness has died by euthanization in Canada. And that's what I'm talking about. He didn't even have a terminal illness. Kiana Verfayan, 26, has type 1 diabetes, partial blindness, and depression. Now, type 1 diabetes is hard to recover from, especially if your pancreas is gone. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, partial blindness and depression. But was approved for the government's euthanization scheme despite his mother, Margaret Marcilla's protest. She said his death in December 30th was disgusting on every level, having previously prevented him from dying under Canada's medical aid in dying program. Medical assistance dying program. So you got medical assistance for food, right? And care, and you got medical assistance for death. Yeah. I was going to read all this. She says no parent should ever have to bury their child because a system and a doctor chose death over the care for them. So they're not even giving a damn about anybody now. It's all about the money. In their minds, is saving money and just putting you down. This is what I also looked up. The Georgia Guidestones, which they claim was destroyed a few years back. But this is what it said. The purpose message, the monument commissioned to provide guidance to humanity, particularly after the potential apocalypse. Now, what they will tell you, and I got to be careful saying this, is that this place, the earth itself, is overstimulated. Let me say that. It's too many of us. When a study was shown that showed that the whole planet can fit in the east coast part of America. That's what I saw as a study. Not sure how true that is, but it makes sense. This earth is pretty big. They say it's a small world. No, it really ain't. If you ever flew state to state, which most of us have, half of that land ain't even inhabited. Anyway, the central tenet that drew controversy was to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. See, they don't need it up no more, any damn way, you know. They always got to let you know, just like your food. They got to let you know you're eating garbage, but they put it so small you ain't going to read it. Anyway, John 8:44, you know, this Jake, but I mean, let's go to Esau right now. Ye are your father, the devil, right? And the lust of your father ye will do. And that's going to come with the chip too, right? Everything that they plan, everything they do, they're going to set up role leaders to carry out these agendas, right? Take them out, chip them or create situations or that chaos so they can enforce agendas. The scripture says, 2 Corinthians, 11 or 12, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11 or something like that. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices or his designs. Right? This is why Job 20 says, when he's about to fill his belly, the rain of fury shall come upon him. Right? So it says, he was a murderer from the beginning. Yeah. And abode not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and a father of it. So that brought me to Genesis 27 and 40. And by the sword shalt thou live. This is talking about Esau. Let me go on down here. 40. 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew, and the heavens from above. And by the sword, talking about Esau, shall thou live. So, when we talk about the sword, we're talking about an instrument of cruelty. A needle is a sword right now with this technology. Right? A chemical is a sword. And the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off his neck. You see what I'm saying? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessings wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Right? This guy could very well have been a Jake. I don't know. But I think when it comes to Esau, they don't give a damn because they know we mixed amongst them. They know we mixed amongst them. He damn sure look at him and his mom. They look like Jakes. I don't know. I know it's about the father side, you know. But hey, it is what it is. Matthew 5 and 21. Ye have heard that it was said in the days of old. And this Christian nation is supposed to be about Christian and loving Jesus. That's what they say. This is how you know Jesus is a freak and he's a murderer. The true Messiah doesn't believe in this, man. Remember 1 Samuel 2 said, I kill and I make alive. So at the end of the day, the Lord is the one who killed him anyway. You look at it. Ye have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder. And whosoever murders will be liable to judgment. And this was the man did to the children of Israel. So he has to get judged. All these years with the sicknesses and he really, believe it or not, he's did a lot of murdering already. What people say unaliving. He's done it already on large scales, from stress, from diet, from you name it, you know, television, thugs, Bloods, Crips, guerrilla families, Aryan nations, and everything else. And they push that doctrine, and then now we got killers and murderers and rap music. And when you see these men get gunned down in the street, you can blame Esau. The Lord did it, but you can blame Esau. Esau is the one. He promotes it. Right? He funds it. If everybody had equal of everything, who would fight for whatever? You know, that wouldn't happen. Anyway, we're in a nation where you could take money, turn it into plastic, and people will kill over it. You would have never thought that. You could take a pair of leather and put a sole on the bottom of it and call them expensive Jordans or whatever kind of shoes, and people will kill over it. All to set a status. That's all I have on that. Shalom.